Literature is both a reckoning of the past and a promise to the future. And it contains stories that we may never live, but could possibly live. That's what literature is to me. My name is Laurel Berge, and I have been a subscriber to literary arts for the last 14 years, but have enjoyed it for the last 20 of my life. And I have the extreme privilege and honor of being an emergency medicine physician for the last 22 years with a specialty in disaster medicine. I'll never forget one of my dearest and best friends that I did surgical internship with brought me to my first literary arts now 21 years ago. I had just finished 36 hours on. I was exhausted. I only had 6 hours off. But how she got me was, there is going to be an author who talks about how they think and how they move through the world. And I thought, I am in. And that was how I was introduced. What literary arts has done for me during the pandemic, most specifically, I would have to say that it is a promise. The best way to describe it is when my colleagues and I were working in the hot zone of the COVID unit, and we were in our full PAPR gear with oxygen being pumped in, gear that made it literally almost impossible to walk through the very unit and to care for the very people that you were caring for. We would slide down at the end of that very long shift and talk about the things that we would want to do after this pandemic was over, in the same way that a shipwrecked sailor would talk about their first meal once they were rescued. And there was one particular night where we were all sitting down against the wall. And I said to my colleague and friend, to be able to sit in the hall and listen shoulder to shoulder with my community to stories, that's what I'm looking forward to. And so The Moth was the first in-person live event, and I was struck, and I went up to Andrew Proctor and I thanked him and wanted to make sure that he thanked his staff, because the work that literary arts is doing is vital. It is as vital as a survival mechanism as what my colleagues and I do. And so why literary arts? In a time where we are facing extreme challenges, our generation has been tasked with not only a global pandemic, but a new emerging pandemic and infection with the monkeypox while still dealing with COVID. Our beloved city is facing astronomical amounts of displaced and houseless people. We are facing incredible surges of mental illness and disconnectedness. Why literary arts is because storytelling is not only a way for us to understand what it is we are doing now, the how and why of other people's actions. It is memorializing the stories of people we have lost, and it is a promise to our future selves that this community is worth saving, this community is worth living in, and this community is worth fighting for. Recovery and reunion as a premise for Bookmark and literary arts is something that goes hand in hand with every single one of us. How we recover is by compassionately listening to stories of those that we do not agree with, compassionately listening to the grief and loss of those people that are in our lives and in our community. And recovery can only happen through reunion, in my opinion. I am so grateful to be able to speak to those gathered in support of literary arts, because the work that we are tasked with is big, and the work that we are tasked with seems almost impossible. And as an avid reader and a burgeoning writer, and as a physician who has fought for this very time and place along with my colleagues, I'm so grateful to be here at this moment to share all this with you.